Hello, 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 everyone. Coming to you live. I'm going to give folks a moment to hop in because we have a really important conversation to have today around having a proactive and sustainable fundraising strategy. Hop on in, say hi in the chat if you're here live. I will watch the chat. If you're watching the replay, feel free to put your comments in or your questions. I'll try to get back to them. You can always email me, Sarah, S-A-R-A-H, at PivotGround.com. I'm a real person. Sometimes I've had people get on Zoom calls with me one-on-one and be like, oh my God, it's just like you are in your videos. So if you were to get on a Zoom call with me, I'd look exactly like this, probably. Anyway, all right, let's get started, folks. Today, I am wondering if you have had fundraising challenges where your fundraising only ramps up when money is running low, or maybe you are one of those organizations who has experienced a sudden loss of federal grant funding, or maybe you find yourself kind of going about your day throughout most of the year, and then when you get to a few key board members, you're going, oh my God, we need more money. It's a crisis. So if you have been in that place where you are in reactive fundraising mode, this few minutes with me is for you. Today, we're going to talk about how to stop scrambling for funds and build a proactive fundraising strategy. All right? So, before we go into how to do it, I want to touch on why we should do it. Of course, we should do it because we want to have money. But another reason we should be proactive about our fundraising is it makes fundraising easier. If you're always in reactive mode with your donors, it's going to seem like you're maybe not doing the best job. When you are planning ahead, fundraising for what's next, what could be, what will be, it's easier to fundraise. It's a more compelling story than, oh, we ran out again. The present needs will always be there to fundraise on, but you add this whole new layer and ability to engage with donors and supporters and get them excited when we are proactively fundraising for what is yet to come. Also, if you've ever struggled with poverty mindset or scarcity mindset, you need to be thinking about proactive funding. So rather than being like, we need this, but we have to go find the money, or we don't have the money, it's such a better place to be saying, we need this, we have the money, we planned ahead for the unplanned, it's okay. Let's go ahead and invest in ourselves. That mindset that comes from actually having the money in advance leads to a growth mindset throughout your entire organization, staff, clients, board members, supporters, and a growth mindset team of stakeholders, your largest team possible, is a mindset that is going to lead you to more growth. And more growth means more impact, especially if we grow in a focused way with intention towards impact. But I'll leave that part there for now. All right, so what are the key pillars we need to think about when building a sustainable fundraising plan? First of all, throw out your calendar. I don't want you to design a plan around the calendar, and replace your calendar with a layer cake, okay? We're gonna build a beautiful, sustainable fundraising layer cake. your base layer, the foundation of your rock solid financial future, is going to be built from individual donors. And what are we going to start with? What are the first ingredients that we're going to do? The first layer of our foundation. We're going to focus our efforts on high touch relationship building. And we're going to go out and we're going to build relationships with people, finding people who are interested in the same issues that our organization is interested in, and probably that you are interested in personally. We're going to ask them about what they're interested in. We're going to learn about them, and we're going to build a relationship. And that is going to lead them to give and give again and give even more and bring their friends and their acquaintances who also care about the same issues we care about. Once our plates are totally full, and we can expand our teams and do this more and more and more, but once we're saying, yeah, we can thrive off of our individual high-touch relationship giving, then you can add in what I like to call scaled relationship maintaining, right? So we're going to have even more relationships with people, and we're going to use fancy digital tools to help us do that. Things like mass emails, which ideally we will customize, segment our lists, use those custom fields so that they feel more like high touch relationships, because those are the best kind, right? My best friend, her name is Sarah, is a better, stronger relationship than, somebody who I'm technically connected to on LinkedIn, but I've never hung out with, don't have a long history with, of shared experiences and deep conversations, right? So, but yet both are part of my community. So we're going to build we're going to fill out that layer of our first base of our proactive fundraising layer cake with scaled communication tactics so that our community of individual givers is really strong. And for many of you, that will be more than enough money. Okay, now we can build our second layer of our cake. Our second layer can be, well, sometimes I use the analogy, our first layer is the high-touch relationships, and our second layer are the scaled relationships, right? The huge, larger community that we have of individual giving, we can't just be high touch with everybody, but we've really got a big community of people. Then our third layer can be corporate sponsorships, if they are right for you. Or if you might not need a third layer, you can move on to the icing. The icing on your cake is grants, right? I don't want any of you to be dependent on grants for your survival. Let me say that again. I don't want any nonprofit to be dependent on grants for your survival. They are the icing on the cake. Now, I'm not going to touch on today what you might call earned revenue or revenue that is paid to your services. So some of you might receive federal or state money that is paying for services that you provide. I'm going to count that in a different bucket. And it is okay for your organization to be 100% sustainable based off money paid to you for giving the services you give, even if that's directly from your clients, right? That's an okay, sustainable model too. What is so special and sustainable about individual gifts is they are built on relationships. Relationships don't have don't have to have cycles, right? You can create your own cycle, right? You don't have to wait for the next round of funding to come out. Nope. You can call up your good friend any day of the week just to have a great conversation, just because you care, which means you can have relationship building conversations that become money. There's a for-profit marketer I love, Lauren Portier. Laurel. Laurel or Lauren? I gotta check her book. Here's her book. Laurel. Thank you, Laurel Portier. That's her book. She's total for-profit marketer, but she says conversations are the fastest path to cash. So if you would like to have more money, you need to have more conversations. This is the world of individuals, right? You have more conversations with individuals. You ask true conversations. These are not pitches. These are getting to know each other. And you can do this every day of the week, every week of the year. You can be having these conversations, which are going to lead to having all the money you need. And what happens with these relationships, it's not just the money they've given you already. It's the money they can give you whenever you need it, right? One of the best fundraising executive directors I ever knew, this was before I did leadership coaching, I just did marketing. We were doing a big kind of building a web app thing, and he needed more money. So what did he do? He made 2 phone calls, just 2 phone calls, and secured that money. Because the value in your base of donors isn't just how much they've given you, how much you have in your bank ready to deploy instantly. The value in that relationship, that's true human resources. That's the value of your network. That's the money that you could tap into with a phone call or an email, right? To bring in even more when you want to do something fun or cool, or if you have some sort of unexpected emergency or change. But we have to have done the work to have the relationship already. So it is the proactive approach is building the relationships. And the reactive consequence is you having more money. Let's just wrap this up with that concept once more. It's not you need money and you go out and start asking people. That's not a good relationship, and it's going to leave you desperate. You're going to proactively build your relationships, and that is going to lead you to have access to the money whenever you need it, whenever you want it. It will either be in your bank or just a phone call or 2 away. That's all I have for you today. If you found these tips helpful, take a moment to share them with somebody else who would benefit. That's how we all come together as a community here of people who are doing the good work in nonprofits and all of the folks like me these days who are helping the nonprofits do their good work. Until next time.